Hey everybody, it's me Monet, Lap Band Diva, and I wanted to come on real quick and kind of keep bringing you up to speed. I know you're probably wondering, well, when is she going to talk about the lap band or her experience with the lap band? But I kind of feel a need to bring you up from where I came from, and I really wish I would have started my videos right after I had my surgery, but didn't know any better, and I'm just starting now, so I want you guys to be patient with me. I use my laptop webcam, and so that's why you probably can't see a lot of me, is because my camera is kind of tiny. But I really wanted to kind of bring you up to speed. I will tell you that Life with the Lap Band was really, really good today. And if I go into too much, then you'll be like wanting to know more and more and more, and then I'll have to backtrack and come forward. But I will tell you that recently I had to get an unfeel. And a feel is part of band maintenance. You have to get your band field in order to maintain or gain restriction to determine how much of a portion you can eat. And my band holds 4 cc's, and I had 3.0 feel and a 4.0 band. So you can imagine what that was like. It was extremely tight. I did a lot of pibbing, which is productive barfing or throwing up, and that can be very dangerous. So I had an unfeel just recently when I went to Mexico, and I'm kind of nervous because I can eat I can do a lot. I can eat a little bit more than I could, but I had to get some of that fluid taken out because there was some swelling going on, and I did not want my band to slip. And so the surgeon, not the surgeon, but Dr. Soon suggested that I get some of the band, get it loosened a little bit so that I could let that area heal. Anyway, real quick, I wanted to talk to you about being banded in Mexico. Real quick, I just wanted to give you an idea of what that was like. Had a phenomenal experience in going into Mexico. Went to Mexico because the price was right. Dr. Ortiz is world renowned. He's been on Oprah. He's written a book. He's proctored a lot of the U.S. doctors here. And usually when you're in the U.S. looking for a lap band surgeon, you're looking at how many bands they've done. And generally you go from anywhere from 300 to 500 bands to determine the experience of a surgeon here in the U.S. Now, in Mexico, Dr. Ortiz has done over 5,000 lap bands. He does 6 to 8 bands a day. And so with those stats and the price, I was sold and on my way to Mexico. And mind you, I went by myself with nobody supporting me. I hopped a plane out of Vegas into San Diego, 1-hour trip. Got there and was picked up by the driver from the Obesity Control Center, which picked me up on the U.S. side and took me into Tijuana across the border. Got across the border, and TJ, Mexico was very interesting. My buddies that live on this side of the world and some of the things that they do, and going over to where they live at, now I understand why they do what they do. I mean, the driving and the blowing the horns and kind of doing their own little rules and regulations was interesting because I was able to see them in their own, environment, which was really interesting. Dr. Ortiz does not do surgery in a hospital. So I didn't go to some Mexican hospital and have surgery. I went to a center, the Obesity Control Center, and the place was fabulous, people. Beautiful facility, clean, plush. Had you not looked outside or went outside walking around, you would have really thought you was in the U.S. And that was really intriguing. The other thing that really, really got me going was that when I got off the elevator into the center, the lobby was filled with U.S. citizens with their luggage that had made the decision I made to come to get the lap band for the phenomenal price that I paid, less than $7,000. They were all lined up. It had been at least 20-25 people the day that I showed up, and I was blown away that there were so many U.S. citizens here in Mexico to get the lap band. And I had to get some testing done, like all of us have to do at the center. They have cardiologists there, nutrition. They have live doctors there that really are doing the same procedures that you get here in the U.S. And the facility is self-contained, which means there's a operating facility in the back, operating room. You have surgeons, and they have their own offices, and or the different doctors that you meet with, like you would do when you're getting ready for a pre-op situation here in surgery here in the United States. It was just, like I said, a phenomenal situation. The place was immaculately clean. And when you say you're getting banded in Mexico, people think the place is dirty. They got some cots, you laying around on cots, and flies and all that kind of stuff. It was nothing like that, people. You've got to at least take a trip over there to see what I'm talking about. The place was phenomenal. And again, when you got going into the back where the patients were, you had to cover your shoes. They had the same protocols that they use here in America, and it was an excellent experience. I had my own room with my name on the door from where I was coming from, Las Vegas, and we had telephones in there, which I just thought was phenomenal. The telephone allowed me to call the U.S. and scream for help if I felt that this was not going to work. I could make me a phone call, which I thought was hilarious, because I'm thinking, hey, can I call home on this phone? And that was and then you can get calls coming in. People were able to call you. You're not in jail. You're not over here in some third world country where now you made a bad decision. It's like, woo, I'm getting ready to get chopped up and sliced up, and it was nothing like that. And I was comfortable, really, really comfortable. And like, again, they line you up because that's how many surgeries are going to get done that day. And it was phenomenal. Dr. Ortiz makes his rounds. He comes in the room and talks to everybody, and he's fine. Number one, the brother's fine. Second of all, he is the most hilarious surgeon you're ever going to meet. If you've watched any of my videos on my favorite videos here on my YouTube page, Dr. Ortiz is hilarious. He's comical. He had me cracking up. He was hilarious, and he just really makes you feel comfortable. Hey, Monet, we talked for a little while, and I told him I had a cesarean and kind of wanted to know how that was gonna, what the difference was in between the surgeries. And he's like, hey, what I'm getting ready to do to you was nothing like a C-section, and you're in good hands. And he was just real. He made you feel comfortable about what you were getting ready to do. The experience in TJ, Mexico was phenomenal. And I made a lot of friends. I met some people that I still keep in touch with, and we all have similar, I'm sure similar stories to tell. Everybody had a wonderful experience. After you get banded there, the protocol is that you go in, you get your testing, you go back to the hotel, which is included in your price, and you eat your last meal. People, get you a steak, get a burger, whatever you can get to eat, because that's pretty much your last meal. Now, people say, well, why would you be eating that before surgery? But that was early afternoon. My food had already digested, and I was ready to go for my surgery. But I knew it was going to be 3 weeks after that before I could eat again. So I just had me a burger and fries and a soda. And since I've been banded, I haven't had any soda. So, that was my last soda, 5-6 months ago. And then you come back in, they come and get you from the hotel, and then you do the surgery, and you stay at the center overnight to be monitored and to drink your broth, and they give you popsicles just to, get you something down. And you say popsicle, what do you mean popsicles? But, just like having your tonsils out, you get something, get something cold that can go down. Now, popsicles, but it was good. We ate them. And that's just kind of like a little thing that they do for the type of surgery and the banding and having the band put around your stomach. Stayed there overnight, got up, went back to the hotel and stayed. And what was so amazing is that the hotel people were kind of like in on your surgery. They knew what you could eat, which I thought was really phenomenal. And then after that, I was on my way back to Vegas, back to San Diego, back to Vegas, and back home to heal. If you're thinking about going out of the country to be banded or going to Mexico, it's really not a bad idea. They're human like we are. I'm sure you've heard horror stories about Mexico and, the people and dangerous could be, and they're over there, sticking and leaving tools in people's bodies. I didn't experience any of that, so I don't have that kind of testimony, but I had a wonderful experience. And if you're thinking about, saving some money, getting banded, please, by all means, call the Obesity Control Center or look them up at www.obesitycontrolcenter.com and check it out. You will be pleasantly surprised. Now that I've got all that out of the way, my next videos will be on a roll about my experience with the lap band. I've got some interesting stories to tell you about the lap band and what I've experienced. Everybody's got a different experience. I got some good things to tell you and maybe some bad news to tell you, and just some of the things I've experienced having